Hi, my name is Javid Kiani. I'm here with Adrian Kriss today of Adrian Kriss Associates. How are you doing, Adrian?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, today I want to focus on your quest to find your mother, who's been missing for how long?
It's difficult to say that she's been missing, it's just I haven't been able to find her since finding out that I was adopted. My mother and father that brought me up informed me when I was 12 that I'd been adopted, and as I loved my mum and dad, I had no reasons to try and find them. I think there comes a point in life when we all want to know where we have come from. And after my mother and father died, I decided that I wanted to try and find who my real mother was.
Right.
I'd always been told that my real mother was American, that she came from America, worked as a nurse
Okay.
somewhere in Birmingham, had me, and then disappeared.
So you were born in the UK in Birmingham?
I was born in St Chad's Hospital
St Chad's
in
Hospital.
the UK
Okay.
in 1961, in September 1961. Since my mother and father Shalom died, then I went on a quest to try and find out as much information as possible. That quest in this country has been very difficult. I had counselling with social services over a 6-week period,
Okay.
only to be informed that actually they had no records of me whatsoever other than my birth certificate, and that I should approach the Beth Din in London, who had arranged the Jewish side of the adoption. I did get in contact with them, but they have been not very forthcoming
Right.
with their information. Whether that is the case that they're hiding information, or whether they have very little information, I don't know. In which case, one has to beg the question, am I a Jew or am I not a Jew? In order to be a Jew, you have to prove that your mother is Jewish,
Right.
normally by production of her birth certificate, and also then the production of her mother's marriage certificate.
Right. Okay.
In my particular case, none of those have been forthcoming, which is extremely unusual. So in order to show that I'm a Jew, I have been given a certificate that says I am a Jew.
Who was that certificate provided by?
That was provided by the Beth Din in 1969, 8 years after I was born.
Right. Okay.
And according to them, that certificate was provided because they couldn't trace my mother between 1961 and 1969.
Okay.
And they had been trying to gain the relevant details to prove that I'm actually a Jew.
Right.
The reason this came up in its entirety is because the Rabbi Rabinowitz, who was the rabbi in charge of the Central Synagogue in Birmingham in 1960, was approached by Rabbi Erwin Zimmit of the Temple Bet Al Synagogue in Poughkeepsie. He had been approached by a lady called Joan Bally. I believe that was her married name,
Okay.
although she was a divorcee, and she found herself pregnant.
Just one thing before you carry on. Can you confirm that that was her name?
Joan Bally is her name.
So we're 100% certain on her name.
100% certain, and my name on my birth certificate is Adrian David Bally, Bally.
And Joan Bally is her correct name?
Joan Bally is the name on the birth certificate.
Right.
Whether there is any proof that that is the case, I don't know.
Okay.
But it's a very, very interesting case because this particular lady was staying in a trailer park in Wappinger's Falls, just outside Poughkeepsie.
So where's Poughkeepsie?
Poughkeepsie is 100 miles north of New York City in New York State.
Okay, in America.
In America. And somebody at that particular time in 1961 who can afford to either fly or sail to this country, but there are no sailing records.
Okay.
In 1961 must have had quite a bit of money, so why should somebody be staying in a trailer park, care of Palmer, in Wappinger's Falls, just outside Poughkeepsie? And go to the trouble of contacting a rabbi to have an Orthodox adoption when her husband wasn't actually Jewish.
And again, in the UK, it could have been done in the US.
Could have been done anywhere in the world. So this case is very, very interesting because there are just no records. It's almost as if she doesn't exist either.
The other thing is, it's making me think, she came to the UK to have the birth.
Yeah.
Perhaps she had relatives in the UK. Have you looked into that?
No, she didn't have any relatives in the UK. She had sponsors in Sutton Coldfield.
Okay.
The Beth Din have refused to tell me who those sponsors were because they are quoting the Data Protection Act, even though I have a signed affidavit from the court in Birmingham to say I can have all my information. The Beth Din have been reticent in releasing further documentation.
So what do we know about the sponsors?
Nothing.
Other than their location, perhaps?
Other than their location, I do not know their names.
And the location is?
Sutton Coldfield.
Sutton Coldfield in Birmingham. Okay.
But they were contacted by the Beth Din just after my birth and by Rabbi Rabinowitz, and they said they no longer knew where Joan Bally had gone.
Okay.
But that is coming from the Beth Din.
Right.
The only literature that the Beth Din has been able to give to me is a piece of paper of 3 questions that were sent from Rabbi Rabinowitz to Rabbi Erwin Zimmit in Poughkeepsie that says, please confirm that Joan Bally is a Jewess, that she was a divorcee, and that her mother was Jewish. And the reply was, to all 3 questions, yes.
Okay.
I have been to America, to New York, I have been to Albany, I have gone through the birth records, death records, marriage records, to try and find a record of a marriage between a Joan and a Mr. Bally between 1950 to 1960, because the Beth Din gave me an approximate unconfirmed birth date of Joan Bally of the 6th of January 1932.
Okay.
One would expect she may have married at around 18, 20, that age, and obviously has to have been divorced prior to my birth. So we've got a 10-year gap, excuse me, to try and find information. But that information is not forthcoming from the records that I have in New York.
Do we have any pictures of a possible Joan Bally?
No.
Nothing at all?
I have found a number of Joan Ballys, of which pictures look very, very similar to me, but
Right.
those people have been ruled out. The one of which, Joan Bally, was her maiden name, and she was Amish,
Okay.
and lived in Pennsylvania. I have spoken with her sister Barbara, who is still alive, and that particular lady had not visited England, so and also is not Jewish, and somebody of Amish descent would not be approaching a rabbi and asking for a Jewish adoption. I have found a number of different Ballys where there have been a marriage. There was a Bally to a Palmer Tia in Wappinger's Falls, which is quite interesting, because then why does this Joan Bally be resident in a trailer park care of Palmer? Palmer Tia. It's an interesting closeness of names, but again, the dates and the ages of that particular Joan Palmer Tia do not tally with this Joan Bally. So I have done a great deal of research in trying to find where she may be. I've also done a cycle ride to try and raise the profile from Bromsgrove to Israel to try and get the media more interested. The Long Lost Family TV show showed an interest, but when I explained it all to them, I think the fact that it's a TV programme and they want an end result really means that Noah from Long Lost Family ruled that out.
Okay, you've done quite a lot of research, and you appear to be getting closer, but you're not just there yet. What do you think the next steps would be for you?
I think it's very important to go to the dead ends.
Mm-hmm.
The dead ends will always keep coming up, and therefore you can say I've ruled these out.
Right.
Because the Ballys that have been on a ship, the Ballys that have been married in this country, I have lists of them all, have to be ruled out in case they are different routes. Australia, Canada, all the different Ballys I have been looking at. The only way to go forward is to try and put it out into the media.
Which is what we're doing now.
Which is what we're doing. To try and see if people want to take this on board as a challenge, because the Data Protection Act and secrecy laws in America make things very, very difficult. But somebody out there has to know who Joan Bally was and where possibly her family is. And I'm sure she would be interested to know that I am a successful businessman, that I have a career, that I have a family, but I would like to know a little bit about my medical background and about where I came from, and equally where her family came from.
Okay, just to summarise before we shut off this video, we know her name is Joan Bally.
That's correct.
We know she was born in...
We don't know where she was born.
We think she may have been born in, possibly...
She came from America, but she was not born in New York.
We don't have a copy of her birth certificate.
No.
So we've only really got a confirmed name to go by.
That's correct, and me.
And yourself. So
and my children look like me, so hopefully
she should look like you.
Or my father would look like me. My father is not mentioned on my birth certificate at all.
And if someone's watching this video and they want to get in touch with you, what's the best number to get you on? Or the best contact details?
You could go to adriankriss@hotmail.com as an email. You could call me on 01527 832263 in England. That is my practice number, and that will come through. Or just Google Adrian Kriss and you'll find my details.
Okay, brilliant, Adrian. That's a very commendable cause, and I hope you find your mother very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.